Sorry. Right, what was today's video about? Today's video is about the advice that you see all over YouTube in big letters: stop wasting time. Now, I actually have a problem with this because you are a human being. You're not a machine. You're not going to be doing the same level of work from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. It's not sustainable. It's not possible. You are apt for emotions, moods, sleepiness, drowsiness, and of course, bouts of intense, brilliant focus. However, with that said, there are a number of things that you do want to be aware of and you want to be watching out for. The first is, I guess, doom scrolling on your phone. It's not actually very good and it can affect your mood. It can trigger you. You can get angry. You can get emotional. It's just probably not the best thing to do when you want to be at your most focused. But how do you stop wasting time, in the sense that you should be doing something else instead of doom scrolling? i.e., how do you stop procrastination? Well, I have a few tips that may help you, and let's get into them right now. First up is, how do you define wasting time? Now, what I mean by this is, what are the activities that you are doing that you consider are time wasting? And let me just give you a quick example here why this might be not what you think. Normally on a Monday, I have to wake up very early for an early morning call. I also have to wake up early, often on a Tuesday morning. What I find is by Tuesday night, I am exhausted. However, after I finish my work on a Tuesday or any evening, what I like to do is I like to go and do some learning. I like to get my notebook and I like to go and sit down and just write out notes from an interview with a business leader or a high-performance sports star. What I find on a Tuesday night is no matter how much I want to do that, I just cannot do it. My brain is exhausted. I'm not in the mood to do it. And I used to beat myself up about this. But then I realized there's nothing wrong here. I am just mentally and physically exhausted. I'm tired. I've been living on 4 or 5 hours sleep for 2 days. Of course, I'm going to be tired. So now I just watch episodes of Taskmaster, as Greg Davies calls it. And sometimes I'll watch other comedy shows or game shows or whatever. I don't feel guilty about it. What's happening is it's my brain's way of saying, you are exhausted, you need a rest. And for me, watching episodes of Taskmaster, it makes me laugh, or watching episodes of Would I Lie to You, all these British sitcoms, comedy shows, I love them. And they are kind of like my intentional distraction. And I don't feel guilty about watching them. Another activity that some people may think is time wasting is taking my dog for a walk. And yet, taking my dog for a walk is one of the most productive things I can do. Louis, my little Yorkshire Terrier, gets on with his thing. He likes to sniff things, look at things, bark at other dogs, whatever. All I need to do is just hold the lead and just guide him around the place that we're going to walk. But what I find with that time is that I am incredibly focused on something. My brain is thinking. It's like that thinking time. It's also, I'm away from a screen, which is a damn good thing, and I can just let my thoughts flow. It's not a waste of time. It's one of the most productive things I do each day, which is take my dog for a walk. So what we've got to do is we've got to understand what is a time-wasting activity and what is not. I know, for example, over-planning. Overthinking. Yes, sure, that is time wasting. But the one thing that you can do here is set a limit on your planning and thinking time, because it's infinite. You could plan and think for the next 10 or 20 years and achieve nothing. Planning can be very seductive. It makes you think you're doing something when actually you're doing nothing. You're just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. What you need to do with planning, which can be a huge time waster, is set a limit. Usually if I'm planning a project, a new project or something like that, I give myself 1 week in order to plan the project. At the end of that week, I have got to start. I've got to do the very first thing. What you'll find often is once you've done the very first thing, the second thing, third thing and fourth thing just naturally fall into place. And you realize, I didn't need to spend all this time planning. Planning can be time wasting if you overdo it. Yet planning and thinking are 2 important parts of any project or almost anything that you do. The key here is just set a limit. Say, okay, for 3 days, for the next 3 days, I'm going to plan this project. And I don't mean you spend all day, every hour planning. It's just, this is what I'm going to be doing, maybe for an hour a day. But then you must start. Set a limit. That is one of the key ways of preventing planning and thinking from becoming a time-wasting activity. Now, throughout the day, you're going to be going through what's called peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs. Now, Andrew Huberman has cited a study, I don't remember the actual study, is that whilst we know that human beings sleep in 90-minute cycles, we're actually awake in 90-minute cycles as well. And if you want to reference this, just go watch the Andrew Huberman, Cal Newport video because they explain it in much greater detail than I could. Now, if you work on that principle that we work in 90-minute cycles, which means that for 90 minutes you can focus really, really well, but after 90 minutes you're going to find your focus and attention starts dropping and you're going to get distracted. Now, I actually work to this, although I tend to do 2 hours, but I do find, if I'm being honest, the last 20 minutes or so are a bit of a struggle. But what you need to do is understand your own body's natural biorhythms. When you understand that, you can then say, well, okay, I am very focused in the morning. I find focus easy in the morning. I would then suggest that 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning, you block that time out for focused work. Now, you can do that on your calendar, just block that time out. Resist all attempts to have meetings. Now, it might be not possible all the time, but if you're working 5 days a week and you get 3 2-hour focus blocks, that is actually 6 hours of deep focus work that you've done. Now, if you're not scheduling that time, it's more of a luck that you get that 6 hours of focus time. Schedule the time and protect it. It's 2 hours. Now, if you work a typical 8-hour day, that still leaves you with 6 hours to be available for other people. And it really is surprising how much you can get done in 2 hours. But the key here is to know how your biorhythms are working. If you find that you can't really focus well in the morning, then find 2 hours or 90 minutes in the afternoon. Perhaps you could do it in the evening if you're a night owl. But just find a place in the day where you could get 90 minutes to 2 hours of deep focused work. Now, one caveat here. This only works if you pre-plan what you're going to do in that time. It's no good saying, oh, I've got 2 hours of protected time now. What am I going to do? And then you spend 30 minutes trying to decide what to do. That's time wasting. What you want to do to prevent that is to pre-plan. Maybe the night before or first thing in the morning say, oh, this 2 hours I've got here, I am going to write this report that my boss has been demanding for the last 10 days. Whatever, but just make sure you pre-plan it so there's no hesitation. 9:30 comes, bang, you're straight into whatever it is that you are doing. Now, another trick that you can use, which is actually a good place to point out where time blocking goes wrong, and that is to make sure that the end of every session, whether it's a meeting or it's a focused time block, that you give yourself at least 30 minutes of blank space. Now, this is actually critical because you don't want to be doing 90 minutes of focus work, look up, change the screen, go and start doing something else for 90 minutes, because what you're doing is you're giving yourself no flexibility for the inevitable emergencies and demands that will come up in the day. It's the unknowns. We don't know what's going to hit us today. When I woke up this morning, I had no idea what was going to happen to me today. I know where my meetings were, I know what my focused work was, but apart from that, everything else is a surprise. And I don't mind that because, that's just life. Most things are surprises. So you do need to make sure that you've got time available between these sessions of work where you can actually get on and deal with those emergencies. Because if you don't have the time for it, you are going to be panicking, and therefore you'll interrupt the time that you want to do your critical work for the day. So make sure that you've got plenty of blank space on your calendar. Don't jam pack your calendar so that you've got no room for maneuver, because you'll never you'll never use your calendar, or you'll just look at it and go, oh, that's not good. That's not going to keep you motivated. That's not going to keep you energized for the day. Give yourself space between calendar blocks and remove the duplicates. This is not really associated with time wasting, but if you've double booked yourself, you've got conflicting events on your calendar, you can't be in two places at once. Remove one of them. Explain you can't attend their meeting because you're attending another meeting. It's not that difficult. Make sure you don't have conflicts on your calendar. But I think the most important thing to understand is that we are human beings, we're not machines. And time wasting is a subjective thing. What is it that you would consider time wasting? In this situation, that's all you need to know. What are the activities that you consider time wasting? Write them down and then decide how you could avoid using your time to do those activities. One of the things that I would suggest you do is, if you're in a focus work and you have this urge to do some research on Google or whatever, or to play with AI, what I suggest you do is say, no, I must finish this work first and then I can play. This is something I've used for many, many years myself. Whenever I get that urge to just do a quick research on something, have a look at something, I say no, and I'll just throw it into my inbox in Todoist and come back to it later. Quite often the urge has disappeared, but also if you do find yourself getting distracted in that way, it's often a sign that you actually need to take a break. Your brain is an amazing tool. It will tell you when you're tired. It will tell you when you need to take a break. Listen to it. Take a break, go 10 minutes, go outside, get some air, whatever, but just make sure that you are fully aware of what you consider your time wasting activities and move them to one side. Doesn't mean that you should not do them. I think that's a bit regressive, and it also leads to you feeling a little bit miserable. If you want to do something, do it. But what I would suggest is that you say, not now. I will do this when I have finished this piece of work. Okay, I hope you found that useful. I really wanted to get that out because I was really concerned with all these videos that said stop wasting time. It's like the hustle culture, which just leaves you exhausted. There's a time when, sure, you may have to pull an 18-hour day. I've done them in my life. They were important. They were critical at the time. But you don't need to be doing that every single day. Listen to your body. If you find yourself wasting time, however way you define that, then that's probably a sign that your body needs a rest. It could also mean, though, that you don't have a purpose, a reason to actually do something. That might be something that you may want to look at, because that often is how we get demotivated. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. And if you want to learn more about managing your calendar, then this video up here is the one to watch next.